only on the Weather Channel. Now, your local on the 8s.
Currently, the temperature is 25 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. For tonight, partly to mostly cloudy and windy. Low 19. And on Tuesday, partly to mostly cloudy. High 34. Winds west-northwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. The week ahead.
The strongest tornado ever bulldozed homes with record wind speed. The super outbreak spawned an unbelievable 148 tornadoes in 24 hours. The deadliest single tornado on U.S. soil claimed 695 lives. But as terrifying as those tornadoes were, the most destructive of all time was the extended outbreak of 2003. It lasted more than a week and left unprecedented damage, costing in the billions. Early on the morning of May 4th, 2003, Simon Brewer was in his college dorm room in Norman, Oklahoma, preparing for final exams when he saw forecasts for severe storms in the area. Brewer was studying to be a meteorologist. He was also a storm chaser and now had a decision to make: test or tornado.
What do? Oh man, I can't miss this tornado. So boom, I go out to chase the tornado.
You see this? There was a large tornado on the ground.
We are addicted to storm chasing. It's like a drug.
By late afternoon, he was in Girard, Kansas. Happy he had ditched his books.
Heavy damage, we have a wedge on the ground. Less than a mile to our east-northeast.
I mean, it's a monster. I mean, this thing is so violent. It is a mean-looking tornado. I mean, mean-looking.
Look at that house, it's gone.
Just right next to us, there's like a big empty field, but we see all these driveways. That's our whole neighborhood just completely gone, flat.
Oh my gosh, guys, heavy damage. We have heavy damage.
You know, it's just horrible.
Dude, that's some F4 damage. Oh my God.
It was 4:30 p.m., and at the very same time, about 120 miles to the north, in Kansas City, Kansas, another vicious storm was brewing. Helen Despain was at home with her baby, 6-month-old Esperanza, when she noticed the winds picking up outside her home.
And then all of a sudden, the front door and the screen door flung open. And I looked, and when I looked back, the entire house was gone. I was standing outside, and there was no roof, no walls.
Caught in the teeth of a tornado, with winds estimated at stronger than 200 miles an hour, Helen only had one thing on her mind: saving her baby.
And I heard her screaming, and I'm trying to fight my way, and the force is trying to push me the other way. And I crawl over this wall, and she's under it. And on top of her is a speaker. She's stuck, and she's just screaming and crying, and she's face down. Then she went limp, and her arms and legs stopped moving.
It seemed Esperanza was gone, but Helen wouldn't give up. She tugged with everything she had until finally her baby slid out.
I drove her, and she wasn't breathing. She was blue, and her eyes were rolled back up in her head.
With a mother's instinct, she snapped into action.
We're friends. And I just kept saying, God, you didn't give her to me for her to die like this, not this little baby. Don't take her from me like this, because she dies. I'm just going to lay here and die with her. I would never leave her, ever.
Then, in all the chaos, a moment of hope.
Blue color started to fit in, her flesh color started to come back. Her eyes started to come back, the color of her eyes.
Emergency personnel, already dispatched to the neighborhood, were quickly on the scene. They raced toward the hospital, desperately hoping Esperanza would survive. Meanwhile, the twister churned on. 4 blocks north of this main home, surrounded by family and friends, Jason and to-be Rebecca Gibson were enjoying the happiest day of their lives.
We had everyone congratulating us. Then we walk into where we have the cake and food. We start cut the cake.
Then, suddenly, an unexpected guest interrupted the party.
The park ranger burst through the door. Everyone outside, down in the basement. Tornado's on its way. I'm wondering, who put him up to this joke, because it's not very funny.
Of course, this was no joke. The same tornado that just ripped apart Helen Spain's home was headed right for Rebecca, Jason, and their 50 guests. As fast as they could, everyone headed below ground.
When we first went into the basement, it was pitch black. We couldn't see anything.
That's when Rebecca, who was such a happy bride only a few minutes earlier, let her emotions take hold.
Crying and crying. I'm gonna die on my wedding day.
But the basement, with the layers of solid concrete, stone, and mortar, was as good a place as any to hunker down.
I do remember hearing, the freight train sounding noise. It was really close to us.
The shocked guests, bride and groom, emerged from the shelter to find that the tornado passed a couple hundred yards to the west. Some guests left, but a determined bride and groom, even with no electricity, wanted their wedding day.
I remembered that I brought a boombox. We were able to have our first dance.
The Gibsons continued to make the best of what was, if nothing else, a memorable wedding day. By now, the ambulance carrying baby Esperanza had made its way to the hospital. After slipping in and out of consciousness and battling for her life, she was fully alert. The doctors examined her head to toe and were amazed by the results.
All the doctors were shocked that A, the wall hadn't broken her neck, or that she didn't have internal bleeding, or her brain wasn't swelling. There is no reasonable explanation that she and I should have survived that tornado.
While Helen was struggling to understand just how she and Esperanza escaped death, storm chaser Simon Brewer was still courting it.
Here we go.
He and his chase partner were racing after a twister when a police officer in front of them slammed on his brakes.
All of a sudden, I see his reverse lights go on. I immediately start reversing.
Oh, my God!
Fast as that car could go in reverse, we were going in reverse. At this point, the tornado was a mile wide and starting to cross the road in front of us.
The tornado was ripping trees from the ground right in front of his car. Then, in his rearview mirror, Simon saw another frightening sight. Headlights on a path straight toward him.
There's another storm chaser.
Dude, back up! It's right there!
I have to drive around this guy in reverse.
Just in time, the other chaser saw the massive twister a couple of hundred feet away.
So there's 3 cars now just flying in reverse as this tornado is crossing the road in front of us. Mean as can be, debris is falling down, barely missed this tornado, and my adrenaline's through the roof.
Oh, my God!
Simon was elated to have survived. Others were not so lucky. On the first day of the outbreak, 38 people were killed. There were 81 tornadoes, causing more than $400 million in damage.
Okay, now 2.
But the death and destruction wasn't over yet. The extended outbreak continued to spit out multiple tornadoes for more than a week. May 5th, 25 tornadoes. May 6th, 74 tornadoes. May 7th, 29 twisters. It continued until May 11th.
Over 360 tornadoes hit during that